Hello and welcome again to a new lesson of the CoffeeScript Foundations course of Race Karate. In this course, in this lesson, we'll be talking about numbers and math operations. As always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Bastimbalandia. Also follow us as at Race Karate. Also, we are on Facebook. Keep an eye on racekarate.com. Here in Race Karate, you will find everything you need follow our courses. So for example, in the case of the CoffeeScript Foundations course, you can go to the first lesson and you will find just below all the stuff we have in the article, you will find some for navigate between the lessons, so you can go to the next lesson clicking this button right here and go over and over through the lessons. And make sure you select English language, or if you speak Spanish, you can also select Spanish language. And as you can see, our website is free of ads, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. That way you help us to keep going on, uploading more and more videos. Okay, let's start. Here we are in our Cloud9 workspaces list. Let's select our workspace, CoffeeScript Foundations _n. Let's open it. Well, let's start. So far we have talked about strings. It's the unique data type we have talked about. Right now we are going to talk about another type of data we will find in our programs and those type of data are numbers. So we use numbers for perform calculations, like calculate the total price in a shopping cart, the score of a player in a game, so on. There are many uses of numbers in our CoffeeScript programs. We have different type of numbers. We have integers, floating point numbers, and scientific notation. So let's start showing how are those numbers. As always, make sure you run the right command. So here I am in the console. We need to run the coffee command, coffee o.js. We need to go to the client directory in order for this to work. So here inside of the client directory, we can say coffee-o.js-cwcf. Okay, we are now compiling our coffee file to the JavaScript file. So let's start. So here we have an example of an integer. So 5, for example, 0 minus 150, 1199, and so on. We have floating point numbers that are basically decimal numbers. Okay, 3.14 and minus 9.8888888. Well, those numbers are floating point numbers. Like for example, 0.00008 or whatever. We also have scientific notation, like for example, a exponent minus 6. For example, that will be 0.12345 yes, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yes. Here we have the right number, or maybe we can say a exponent plus 6. That will be the contrary. That will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we miss a 0. That will be scientific notation numbers in CoffeeScript. That's it. Same as with strings, we can say, for example, we can create a variable called number. We can say that that's equal to 10. Yes, that will be a number saved into a variable. However, you should never use, if you want to specify that the value is a number, you should never use quotes. For example, if I say 10, this you may imagine this is a number, but actually it is not a number. You have here a string, okay, because you are using quotes. So you have string with the characters 1 and 0. So if you want to say the value is a number, just never use quotes. Let's talk about the basic math operations we have in CoffeeScript. So we have basic plus, we have plus, subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division, and we have the modulus. I'm not going to explain all these operations because those are basic math operations, and of course if you did the Ruby basics course you should remember this because it's pretty similar. We have also accumulators, cumulative operators. So for example, I can say for example this number equals to 10, then I can say number. I can say here number is equal to 10, then I want the same value 10 plus 10. This is the long way of type this, of specify. I can specify this plus equal 10. So what I'm saying here, take the value the number variable has at the moment and add it 10. That will work. Let's say that should be that should be 20 number. Let's say what happened when I try to run this. And not close this. Go to the JavaScript console, and here you can see we have the 20 number printed here. That's great. And this also works with all the other math operations like subtraction, multiplication, and division. We can use these accumulators. So let's practice this with a very simplified example. Let's say I have some products, and this is their price in dollars. So let's calculate the total of these products. So total equals to orange plus apple plus Red Bull plus cakes. So here we have the total, and let's calculate tax. That will be 16%. So let's say total plus equal. So I'm going to add to the current total, I'm going to add a tax. So I use the accumulator of total, and then let's calculate the 16% of total. So I can say total multiply total times 0.16, and then say alert, the total with tax is. Let's add the dollar sign and then interpolate the variable total. That's it. Here we have our small program. So let's say let's run this. Okay, so let's reload this page. And the total tax is 13.92. That's it, the total. Now let's talk about the operators precedence. So first we have to know that when we want to perform an operation, I'm going to delete this. I have an operation. Let's say the first thing the CoffeeScript or JavaScript will look for is going to be the parentheses. So if I have for example 5 multiplied by 3 plus 5, so the operation within the parentheses will be performed first before the multiplication. So parentheses is the first operator or the first thing we are going to perform in an operation. This is pretty similar to Ruby, so you should be familiar with this. So we have first the parentheses, then the next operator we are going to look for is going to be the multiplication, division, or modulus. So for example, if I have 5 multiplied by 5 divided by 2 modulus 2 plus. So first thing that JavaScript will go for is going to be the parentheses. So this will be 3 plus 5, it will be 8. Then it's gonna execute these operators, because this is the next thing they're gonna JavaScript is gonna look for. So as they are at the same level without parentheses, these operations are gonna be executing from left to right. And then lastly, we're going to find the plus addition. So the first thing is the parentheses, then multiplication, division, and modulus, and lastly addition and subtraction. Those are the last operators that CoffeeScript is gonna execute. JavaScript is gonna execute or perform. So let's say console log 5 multiplied by 3 plus 2. Let's see this. Let's open the console, and here we have 25. Let's see. Yes, 5 times 5 is 25. Let's try something just before we finish this lesson. Let's say we have number 1, and we have, okay, I'm going to copy this. I have here this program right here. We're going to add 2 numbers entered through the console, and then we are going to alert the result. So let's run it. So I'm going to save, and let's reload this page. Okay, enter the first number. I'm going to enter the 10, then the 5. Oh, and the result it says is 105. But let's see. So we have 10 here and we have 5 here. We enter the console. That will be 15. So what's going on? Why we are getting back 105? Basically, in CoffeeScript and JavaScript, when we enter a value through any input, it will be interpreted as string. So that's why, if you remember from previous lesson, we said that when we have several strings and we join them using a plus sign, that's called concatenation, and we are just joining the strings together. So basically we are just joining 2 strings, so that's why we get back the number that you said before. So how do we say to CoffeeScript that we want to treat these numbers as numbers and not as strings? So we have as a short function here. We have it's called parse int. We have, so we have this function here, this method called parseInt. This is gonna convert numbers we enter as parameter, this number we enter as parameter, to integer. So let's see if now it works. Let's reload the page. 10 plus 5. That's it. So we have the right result back. We also can use decimal numbers. So if we want to enter also decimal numbers and convert them to floating point numbers, we can use the function parseFloat. So if I try to run the program again, So I say enter 1.5 and 1.5. That would be 3. That's right. Because if I enter the same values using %, so let's see what happened. So I can enter 1.5 and 1.5. The result will be 2, because when we use that this function or this method with decimal numbers, this function wants to convert the number to integer, not to decimal. So it gets only the integer part. So I'm going to explain this in a little bit. I'm going to open the console. Okay, so I'm here in the JavaScript console. So I'm going to type some operations here. So if I say parse int 1.5, so let's see what we get back. So we get the integer part, we get 1, and that's will happen if we enter any numbers here. We get back only the integer part of the number. So we can say here, as you can see, with %, we get only the integer part. But if we change this to float, let's see if this number works. Maybe yes. So as you can see here, now we get back all the whole number, with the whole decimals. So that's why we use partial float if we want to work with decimal numbers. There is also something curious here. So for example, if you want, for example, let's say you have a measure. So parse float, and you have you have 25 pixels. 25 pixels. Let's say this. Yes. So you have 25 pixels, and you have this value with letters in the right. So let's say if parse float converts this number correctly. So let's say, okay, this may be centimeters, meters, but we use in computers pixels. Okay. Okay, yes, I forgot to add the quotes, because remember we use parse float for convert from string to decimal, and parse int for convert from string to integer. So let's see. See here we have the correct result. So it converts only the number. If we enter some other text to the right, we can enter here any other text, and we can also use parse float, and will work the same. As you can see, however, if we enter text to the left, it's not gonna work. It will says nan, N-A-N, and this is the way JavaScript says that something is not a number. So make sure you don't have a string with letters to the right that you want to convert to number. I mean, if you don't have a string that you want to convert to number with letters to the right. That's it for this lesson. The next lesson, we'll be talking about the math object. So we're going to learn some other stuff about math operations. So see you next lesson.